Come on, are you eating?
No, I was drinking
Yeah, I
water.
am.
Don't do that.
Okay, fuck up now. I haven't started that.
Hey, welcome back to the Parrot Side podcast. Myself, skills. We got man like bro,
Yeah, we're back again.
but this guy this entire life. Come on.
Hey, what it do?
We've got a special guest in the building. It's a good friend of the pod. He out here, and we said, "Hey, bro, you gotta come on." Abdulmujeeb in the building.
Yo, everyone. Hello. Thanks for having me.
Hey, for fuck's
Yo,
bro. Hey,
we had a normal intro for once, bro.
literal
That
guy.
never happens.
Well, technically, this is actually take two, but it's fine. It's fine.
No, it's not. No, it's...
I mean, it's not. I mean, of course, this is the first one here. So, hey, y'all know what the fuck it is, boy. Hey, shout out to Power Side, all three of us in primary school, Greenwood House School. If you know that, you know. We just here to do what we was doing back then. The Power Side, we had to hang out. So come hang with us. You know the drill. All right. So obviously, we have our agenda of the day. Today, I'm bringing back a Greenwood story, but it's also a primary school story because hey, it was just out there living. All right. So primary school getting
Skills.
called to the principal's office now. Hey, if you know about that life, you know that was literally like this was the scariest thing that could ever happen to you in life. Getting
Man,
called to principal's
God.
office, like, and this happened enough times in Greenwood. But
You know
Abdul
how Miss Durant was at the time. Like,
yo,
guy, we were so scared of that woman, bro.
no,
So
I was
scared
actually
of her.
literally terrified. Literally terrified. Literally, like,
Yeah.
fuck, you know. Come on. Any
Mm,
principal's office stories from Greenwood
bro, I
or no?
have Greenwood. I remember Greenwood. I was once, but I actually don't remember what happened. But I think it was the whole class that got called to the principal's office. I think
Yeah, we got called to
when
like multiple times.
yeah, but I only remember one. We were like in an ICT room or something. We were like, in a lab or somewhere, and then I don't remember what happened. They just said all of us, like one of us
Wait,
in
is it
this
was
room.
it wait, was it everybody in the class or it was just the boys?
I don't even remember.
Guy, I think
Which
I
one do
remember
you
that one. It
remember?
was just I remember it was
Was it
just the
just the boys?
boys.
What did we
Because
do?
that's Auntie
What did we
Lara
do?
and she hated boys, bro. I don't understand what beef was, guy. She just didn't like male children. So she was like,
Man,
yeah, these niggas were running. Everybody principal's office. And all right, cool.
yeah, I don't even
So it's
remember that
like,
one. But I know in secondary school. Well, prior to popular opinion, I actually got in trouble way more times than I should have, considering the type of person I am. Like,
I mean,
I remember one specifically, and it has to do with this fucker over here. And, and this guy. So we were walking from dining one day back to the hostel. It was me, him, and one of our other friends. So we saw this like wire on the ground, and we started playing with the wire. And then we dropped the wire and just continued walking. And the guys behind us picked up the wire. And then they came and got this guy, and they used the wire to tie him up. And then
uh-uh,
they threw him inside. Wait, was it jerry can? Not jerry
uh-uh.
can. It was like a drum, wasn't it?
Wait,
They
but
threw
Oh,
this
wait,
oh,
wait.
guy.
oh, oh, oh. Okay,
Oh,
wait, sorry. This is class three now.
This is class three. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
was it class
class
three or class
three.
four?
Wow. Yeah, it was Abdul. The person that
Yeah, it
the
was
people
me,
that
you, and Chevy. It was me and
was
Chevy
shaped
initially, and then
you.
yeah, and then
Like, can you imagine? So that was the time you go. Can you imagine?
yeah, then they tied this guy up and threw him
Didn't
inside
get
drum.
didn't get
And then
called
the
to the
school nurse. No, but I got in trouble. I got called to the principal office a different time. But this I'm telling this one because it's funnier,
yeah,
and you just happen to be
that
here.
was
Yeah, so they threw this guy inside drum, and then the school nurse just happened to live there. Like staff used to live in our school, so her house was just right in front of the drum. So she came out, and the woman was very. I don't say she was wicked, but she was man. Secondary school vibes. You say she was wicked, I beg. Secondary school level, she was wicked. So so the woman came and started shouting, and then she like wrote all of our names down. And then in dining that evening, after dinner, they like called all of our names for punishment. So the first thing was they made us clear dining. And bro, I don't even know how many we were in our school. Let's say 400, give or take, maybe. So we had to clear the whole
Yep.
dining. Yeah, and then the teachers, they were like, how many teachers were there? There were like 3 or 4 teachers. They called us again after and for more punishment. I mean, the whole time I was so fucking pissed because I did not do anything. Like I was playing with the fucking thing before, and then I dropped it and I left. And then these other niggas came and started. And and the fucked up thing is, this guy did a 3 inside drum. He did the punishment.
You still punished me. You still punished me.
This guy-
Like, how do you punish the victim?
the guy didn't punish her with us. So that part was funny. I mean, I've got come to a paper with a bunch of time, but this is the funniest one, so I'm just gonna leave it there.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Apart from like even growing with secondary school, like the principal's office was not a place that I really saw like that. Like,
Yeah, because you went to that your fucking posh school, like the only pampered you people.
okay, wait, but they didn't beat in your own school either. So I'm just saying, like, you know,
I mean,
like,
teachers
That was
didn't.
officially.
But like,
no, same,
officially,
officially. Officially, you didn't beat,
Uh-huh.
but niggas received slaps here and there. This one was actually mad. There was one where, like, okay, my school was like both. It's not a boarding school. You can be day or boarding. So, like, year 10, that's SS1. I was in boarding house now. Cool. So after school, wherever we hang out with the day students, wherever in the people course, then we go back to our hostel. So now went up there now. So we're just hanging. There's some of the N9s, like everybody fucks with everybody. It wasn't like this whole senior, your junior, like I don't know, I went down your own
Wait,
side, but like,
everybody what? Wait,
like we all
everybody
fuck with
what?
ourselves. Like the N10s and the N9s, like
Oh,
were
okay,
like,
okay. That's not what I
yeah,
had.
like
That's
we're
not what I had. So I
close.
just have
Yeah. It wasn't like this whole like rift of juniors versus seniors kind of be. Yeah. It's like we're just fucking around in somebody's room one time now. They were all forming like, oh, new swag. And so somebody now came in, we're doing like fashion show basically. Somebody came in with like inside out shit, like, oh, new swag, new swag. All right.
Yeah.
Somebody came in wearing socks as gloves, like, oh, new swag, new swag. All right. Just fucking out, fucking out. The one guy now came in, he wore his trousers as shit, then his shirt as his trousers. They was like, oh, new swag. And that was the exact time
Okay.
the house father now came in. It's like, I get mad. So I was like, oh, bro, like. So now said, just still like that. Carried him like that, looking like a fool. With his fiancé. Straight to
The
the
principal's
principal's office. I was like, yo. But he ain't there. Apparently, the house father was on one. So he called I think he lived in Warrior at the time, but the school is in Lagos. We had a guardian in Lagos. Called his guardian. The guy should have, like, imagine walking in and you see the child you're supposed to be taking care of. He's wearing trousers and shirts as trousers. You're like, oh, this boy's mad. so, so that was a bit mad. We all fell for the guy, but hey, man, that was the maddest thing I had seen in the principal's office.
I think that reminds me of the time where I think it was in our I think it was in our class 6 or class 5. I don't remember when niggas have their shirts untucked, and then they're like the principal seizes the shirts and makes them walk around in vest.
What did you do?
Yeah, like is that because you're already tucking in now, so you took your shirt. But I don't remember. Like, did that apply to babes as well? Like, do you remember? Like the girls.
Unlikely.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah, but
You cannot do that.
no,
Or would
no,
you
no,
take
no.
the babe shit?
Plus, most of the
I
time,
mean,
like to be fair, the ladies try to avoid problems that would like disgrace them, especially amongst boys. To be fair, at least for the most part of it, I don't recall. It wouldn't have happened. That would have been a harassment, man.
Yeah, they wouldn't have let that one slide.
Well, now,
Yeah.
guys,
wasn't there
guys,
also a time where like they will make you wear like a sign? You know what's that shit called?
Oh
Fuck.
yeah. Oh my god, I
Damn,
still
I
have
can't remember the name of
picture
this
of
thing.
that.
I know that shirt you're talking about. Like this shirt has. Oh no, that was for bullying though. Like
Yeah,
if you are
bullying. Like
caught,
you have a sign
have a
like I
sign
am a bully or something like that.
again or something, and it looks like all these
Is this Scarlet
jumps.
Cross? Is that what it's called?
Yes, Scarlet. Anyhow, actually, I
Yeah,
had a
don't
picture
worry.
of that stuff on my laptop a while ago, like my old laptop. Oh my god, that was actually I even forgot about that. Come on, you have good memory. Anyhow,
Yeah, it's alright.
All right, cool. Our main agenda of the day. Do you always reap what you sow? So basically, it's the whole karma thing. You know what I'm saying? Reap what you sow is what you reap. As you lay your bed, so you lie on it. You know, one man's meat, one man's treasure,
I think you botched
one
that,
man's
but you know.
crayfish. Yeah, all this, something like that. Yeah, all that shit. Yeah, so come on. It's your topic. What you said? Start us off.
Yeah, I mean, it's only my topic because I've actually written on this before, but like
That's
the premise of what I wrote initially is I don't agree with the premise of karma. One, because there's just too many instances of people who are complete dickheads, like just prospering in life, and then there's people who are just pray every day, and then the worst shit happens to them. And I'm like, yo, that shit doesn't
Facts.
make any sense to me. Because like,
Facts.
if you take what's the name of that guy that killed how many people in the church? Um, Fuck, I can't remember
The
his
one
name
in
anymore. Why am I forgetting shit today? No, in America. The guy that went to the church and just killed like 7, 9 people some years ago. Dylan Roof? I think it's Dylan Roof. I think it's Dylan Roof. Anyway, this guy entered a church and killed 9 people. Even if you take the recent one in Niger, in Ondo, where the bandits or whatever you want to call them just came and slaughtered like 40 people. I'm sure most of them. I mean, you can't tell me most of them did shit in their lives that makes them deserve to be fucking slaughtered that way.
Absolutely.
And the same as like all these guys that are really religious and all they do is pray all day, but they're fucking poor. Like they just live in poverty their whole lives. I'm like, my thing with that is some people will say, okay, like they may be poor in this life, but in the next life they'll get the reward. But like there's a Christian who prays all day, and there's a Muslim who prays all day, and they're both poor as fuck, yeah.
Facts.
And both holy books says only one of you is getting into heaven, the other one's going into hell. So which so like
Oh,
so
my
like
spin. Okay.
automatically that means one of you
Somebody
niggas
capping.
that use
Somebody's gonna still be
yeah,
broke.
like you prayed your whole life and you were broke your whole life and you're still going to hell, bro. So like this shit don't make sense to me. But like whenever like something happens to someone and say it's karma, like nah, that's just how the world works.
Nah.
Like because that's it. Like even if you're good your whole life, like it shit's still gonna happen to you. So that's my whole thing with the karma thing. Like I just don't like. Well, I just don't agree with the premise. Let me
Oh,
say I
you
don't
don't
like it
believe
because
in like that whole karma shit, obviously. Obviously.
not really. I just in the way
I mean, it can't be
it's
not really. It's a yes or no, innit? Like,
no, like I don't believe you
okay,
reap what you sow. No, I don't. Like
okay,
nah,
okay. That's
nah.
actually mad, because like, and you're right. It kind of ties closely into like religion in general, but like, it's one of those things because there's no actual proof that you reap what you sowed. Like you said, like I see dickheads thriving every day, thriving
Yeah, drive,
every
drive is a
and I'm
motherfucker,
like,
bro.
ew. Because like you said, there are people like even in like the church and not even just the one in the US, like in Niger and all these different countries, like not just churches, like where's the place where Jewish people go again? Synagogue?
Synagogues.
Yeah, and then they've been and then the crimes too. Then I'm like, but like, so they're in a holy place. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I'm like, what's this whole reap what you sow thing? I think the premise is we all just want to get to like a whole humanity standpoint. Because you feel like if you feel like if you take the whole reap what you sow thing, then humans just become horrible people. Like, more. There are more people that are then horrible. Because right now people have that fear because of religion.
Yeah, that will come back
Yeah.
around and hurt them, right? I mean, I feel like that's one of the but I've also heard the opposite argument where people say religion has caused more violence and damage
Yeah, I
than
mean
it's worth.
historically, I guess, yeah.
And historically, it has led to a lot of bloodshed. But I'll also say that it's hard to know what people's moral compass will look like in the absence of religion. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people
Does
who would want
religion
to
give us
steal or
morals
want to
though?
kill. I think it does. Yes, it
Is it
definitely
is it
does. Impulse.
still though?
Yeah, still, yeah.
Because there are people
Because
that are
like,
non-religious. I mean, and they have their morals are just fine. Like it's like I'm saying.
yeah. So this goes back to, and I've had this talk with my brother before in the past. Like, where do morals originate? Like, you can, because it depends on what school of thought you actually subscribe to. But if you say morals originate from, I don't know, whenever man started, like whenever
Mm.
man started, do you think in their heads, do you think they knew what was right from what was wrong? Like, is that just
I
something
think
you're
I
born?
think I don't know. I feel like to a certain extent, yeah, because we have all these feelings like within our human self, like emotion outside of religion, like empathy, sympathy, sad,
Mhm.
happy. You know what I'm saying? So I feel
But if
like
that's
that's
the
just
case,
like
then,
yeah.
if that's the case, then why are morals still subjective till this day? Because
Are
at the
they
end of the
really
day,
though?
yeah, they are. Because there's things that I think is wrong and someone else thinks is fine
Like what? To give an
till this
example.
day. It could be anything, like killing people. Like in my
Okay,
opinion,
well, come
or
on.
bandits, even the bandits like this, they kidnap people and they ask for money, and to them it's completely justified. Like there's nothing wrong with it. Like
Yeah, because
they
they
say the
broke.
government. Yeah, but their argument is the government isn't paying attention to them or trying to fix their communities, so they're doing it themselves. And the way they're doing it themselves is by getting money, and the only way they can get money is from kidnapping people.
Yeah, like
Like
okay,
like,
so they
to
are
them, it's
justifying
wholly
it from their
justified.
perspective, right?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Now,
So
is there
morals are still
any,
subjective.
but okay, is there anything inherently like wrong about kidnapping? Like, fam, you can okay if you get kidnapped, as long as you don't murder the person you're kidnapping, I feel like you're still on the. I mean, it's not looking great for you, but you're still on the right side of morals. Collect your ransom and go home. I'm saying if you're murdering the person, now it's gonna be a long day. You hear me?
Yeah,
That's
but
what I think.
again, that's what I said depends on what school
On
of thought you.
perspective, you're
Because
right.
like
You're right.
if
True.
you're looking at a Platonic school of thoughts, because Plato's whole thing was, morals exist independently from people. So like what you're saying now. So even if they believe that, like outside of that, there's still what's right and wrong. But then there's people like Berkeley who say, nah, that's not what it is. That morals only exist as they are perceived. So if it's only like as they are perceived, then someone who grew up in a certain, like we've used this thing in the past, people who grew up in around gang culture and stuff, and they think it's fine. Like robbing people is fine, killing people is
Do they
fine. I'm doing it
think
for
it's
my
fine though? Do you know, I don't
respect.
actually agree
Yeah,
with. Do they think it's
you don't
fine?
think it's I think they think again,
I don't agree with that.
they think there's a reason for it, and then they
Yeah,
justify
but they
it.
know it's not good. They know. They have to know. There is no way.
But
They know. They
but,
do know.
but what's but do they feel it's wrong? Like when a nigga rides out and does a drive by and kills niggas in the opposite set, does he feel like he did something
I
wrong? I
feel
don't
like he
think so.
can't justify it, but deep down he knows that this is something I can catch a case for. Therefore, like it's wrong. Like it's
Yeah,
not
but does he think what he did is wrong? Like
wrong, like
morally,
morally wrong or legally.
not like legally, no, morally. Does
I
he
think
think
I
what
think
he
I
just did is
think
wrong?
so though. I think they
I
would
don't
know,
think
but I
so.
think they also still
Like
have that mindset that trumps it of like, oh, it's gang shit. I have to do what I gotta do. That's it.
yeah, like, but it's the same as like if someone kills like your family member and you ride out and get revenge. I don't feel like you feel what you did is wrong, especially people in that kind of culture. Like they don't think
Okay.
like
Ooh,
they'll
okay.
say like niggas in gangs, yeah, and you hear this thing a lot. So if someone kills like her son, so if someone loses her son, she'll go to like her best friend or his best friend that's also in the gang and be like, are you gonna allow this shit happen? What? Like, are you not gonna get that nigga back?
Yeah,
That kind of
yeah,
thing.
facts.
Yeah, so they feel obligated. Not only did they not feel it's wrong, they feel obligated to do it. But like me and you, we won't do shit like that. And that's where the whole morality being subjective thing
That
comes
one is
in.
debatable though. I feel like I have to talk to an actual gang member to know. But like I feel you though. I feel you.
There's enough interviews online to find shit on
I
that.
feel you.
Let's not dominate, guys. What do you think of it before me and this guy go on a tangent? Because
Abdulmujeeb, what you saying, fam? What do you think about this whole karma
Yeah,
shit?
first of all, you guys have opened. You've opened two things: the karma thing and then the moral codes, whatever.
yeah,
Uh,
go off, man.
there are two different ones. Anyway, for karma, to be honest, I'm mostly on the side of karma. Karma isn't it for me, to be honest. Not because of some of the things Kamal said. Some of the things Kamal said
The
were.
guy said karma is not slapping, bro.
I hope them, because yeah, sure, we've seen people that literally did crazy ass shit that these guys were playing as evil, and yet they went clean.
Yeah.
And then some people might actually just feel like, yeah, they will meet their end in day of judgment and all that. Yeah, but there's, to be honest, we're humans. A lot of humans still believe that no, like they need judgment here too, like just to have that closure of yes, I know I really did, I got my own back. So yeah, that's where the whole moral thing comes. However, in some part of the ideology of karma can also not be ignored, where like that we reaping what you sow thing. It's not totally wrong, but I don't think it's also it's not totally wrong, but I don't think we can give karma the credence for that particular, because obviously everyone knows that you cannot stay under a mango tree and then be praying for mango to fall down
Yeah,
without
exactly.
having.
Yeah.
You know what?
You cannot wait under a mango tree and then be praying for the tree to drop mango on your head when you're not Isaac Newton or something. You actually have to do the work, you get. So that's where the
Yeah.
report so thing comes to play.
And I agree with
And
that. Yeah, I agree with that.
that one holds true. So it's not everything. However, but also you also know that um you should do good to people. Now, Okay, religiously speaking, oh God, I've entered the trap. Come out it.
No,
Religiously
go.
speaking,
Yeah, here we go. Here
expected
we go.
to expected to do good, like for the sake
Uh-huh.
of it being good, like to seek reward from God and from and well, scientifically, science says that when you do good, people there's this serotonin that gets released. Everybody feels good when they do good. That is the truth. No
No,
matter
bro,
how,
Uh-huh.
I don't go
no
fuck.
matter
Wait,
how good.
let him land. Let him land. Let
Sorry,
me see where
sorry,
this guy
go
ends
on.
up.
So yeah, there's the I think that's the scientific feeling good, and then there's also the
Uh-huh.
part about I'm a Muslim, so expected that when I do good and you actually do it for the sole purpose of being good to God and good to your fellow
Uh-huh.
human, you expect a certain kind of reward, and then you would, if you are inclined towards that line of thought, you'll be inclined to always do good. But then sure, you're a
Mm-hmm.
human, also mess up at some point in time. So now, um there's this line, there's this thought, or better still, there's this statement that exists. I don't know if Kamal knows of it, sha, but that
Mm-hmm.
this the saying goes as a man is going to die upon that which he has been found wanting. That is, a man is going to die upon what he is known for. Like if a man is known to always drink or do whatever, unless by
Mm-hmm.
some divine mercy where he does not, where he, unless there's some divine intervention in his life where he suddenly just says, you know what, I'm quitting this stuff. I want to start a new life all over again, which actually exists. There's this rule of repentance and getting your shit back together, and then has
Mm-hmm.
asking God for help and all that. Yes, then he chooses to die normal. That maybe die normal can be maybe you die in sleep or something, or die, it can even be a car crash. To the left of me, a car crash, you dying there. That's a normal death. Well,
Uh-huh.
that's
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
so it's relative to you dying as a result of atherosclerosis. Okay, normal English, heart attack or something. Secondary to you
Mm-hmm.
uh, being an alcoholic or something. So you get,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not, you cannot really. I don't go with karma, but you can also not ignore the fact that you cannot continue to do shit and then expect to die well, unless for some weird reason you choose to like go into the
Yeah,
line.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
Yeah.
agree
sure,
with
sure.
that.
You have the right. You definitely have the right to disagree. Obviously, but then
I
you
see where
cannot.
you're going with it, though. But yeah.
Yeah, you cannot totally ignore the fact that okay, sure, this person, yeah, you are following this pathway. You expect that this is the there's cause and effect with these things now. We expect that you've been drinking for 5 years. You are definitely going to have high blood pressure. Like chronic drinking of alcohol, my God, something must be wrong with your heart. Something must be wrong with your vessels. Sure, you can change,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it will effect to reduce. But yes, that's good if you choose to change and all that. But then there's cause and effect, or rather, there's let me say because there's risk factors for something. If we heard someone has hypertension now, part of the things we ask in his history is, oh, do you smoke? Do you drink? Do you drink alcohol? Do you smoke
Medical
cigarettes?
doctor.
That
Gang.
so
I fucked it
it's
up.
we it's not because we think okay because the person is doing this is going to happen to this, but it is scientifically proven that a lot of people that have hypertension fell into these particular cases. So we have to rule that out. So as per karma, I wouldn't say because you drank, sure you're going to have hypertension. Like yeah, it can happen. We've seen people
Mm-hmm.
that in fact I know of someone that he died. He died via road accident eventually, but he never really had hypertension, and he's a chronic drinker. Like this
Mm-hmm.
man, chronic drinker. So that's what I believe about karma. I don't follow the ideology, but I also know that there's cause and effect to some things we choose to do, and we are
Mm-hmm.
going to account for that. So that's what I believe.
I feel you though. I feel you, but and I see what you're trying to explain, but that's still random. Like, because anything can kill anybody, right? Like, we have this
Mm-hmm.
saying
Yeah.
in my own industry. It's like if you want to be 100% safe from in aviation or any plane crash, don't fly. You know what I'm saying? It's the same way, okay, if you want to be safe from car crashes, don't drive. You know what I'm saying? So like
Mm-hmm.
it's still that doesn't mean that like anything could still happen. I know niggas that are chronic drinkers and chronic smokers. These niggas look healthier than me, bro. Look at fucking Wiz Khalifa, for example. He's probably been high for years. Snoop Dogg,
Yeah. Yeah.
years. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it's a good point though. So
Eh?
it's one of those things that your parents will probably tell you that, oh, if you drink too much, eventually the alcohol will kill you. If you like woman too much, Nya should kill you. I
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
it.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
get it, but like not really though. You know what I'm saying? So like that's
Can
just
I
too
can
too
I
random though. Go on, yeah.
can I comment on that Wiz Khalifa point and Snoop Dogg point though? I am willing to bet my left kidney if those guys should come to be tested, I am willing to bet my left kidney that something is wrong with their lungs. I am almost
But these
certain.
guys are also
to be.
rich enough to know like their own medical
Bullshit.
conditions too.
Cannot.
But do they
Sorry.
care?
You can't.
Okay, yeah, good
Bro,
point. Yeah.
even if their wealth does not signify sense. For God's sake, they
True.
had. Let me not call you former president of the US. But yeah, you do not necessarily because you're rich. In fact, left in some instances, wealth signifies a lot of it might make you start doing a lot of stupid shit. Like normal thinking people will look at you and like, oh guy, you get money, why you do stupid things like okay, yeah. Remember that time when that Bill Gates news came out that the guy was getting divorced and then everybody were like, wow, shit. So we get self breakfast too, that kind of thing. Sure.
Mhm.
I'm just saying that you be being rich does not mean that you have sense to do something. There's some
No,
things that
I
can just
agree. I agree. I agree.
they
Until I just use them as an example because they're popular, but I
yeah
feel you though.
they looking more. I understand they're looking more healthy, looking physically. That,
Mm.
by the way, Wiz Khalifa does not look healthy to me. We've seen healthy guys. That
He's
guy doesn't.
been working out recently in the gym and
Okay,
shit.
okay,
Yeah.
maybe I'll check up a new picture or Snoop Dogg. I think for and you getting licensed, like I think they have a legal license to smoke marijuana or something, whatever.
It's
If
pretty just legal wherever they live.
where they live.
Yes,
Okay.
legal these days, yeah.
So
Facts.
see, those guys come and do chest X-ray here. I beg. I'm willing to prove that something is wrong with these guys. Yeah, sure, you can look physically healthy, but when it starts knocking, man,
No,
I
I
think
agree
people.
with that. But what I'm saying is like the chances of them dying through like some lung related thing, I don't think is like I don't think is enough
Hmm.
to like I don't know like you know what I'm saying like
No,
it's
finish that
really just as
statement.
die from anything else.
I need to hold something. Finish your statement. You don't think it's enough to?
It's not enough to acknowledge as like oh you are reaping what you sow like you know what I'm saying like they could easily have
It's
just
it's,
die from anything else like I
it's
don't
kind
know.
of enough. To be fair, okay. Imagine 5 years down, we hear like Snoop Dogg comes down with lung cancer. Hopefully not, but he comes down with lung cancer. Will you start thinking, oh
I
shit,
won't be
that's it?
surprised. But then
Exactly.
again,
That's
at
the
the
point
same
I'm trying
time,
to
like
prove.
it's not.
But then
Yeah, no, I
But
feel
you're
you, but
saying
it's
it's
not like
unlikely.
commonplace
Yeah,
it's
that's
you
what you're
very
saying. You're saying it's
likely.
unlikely.
It is even more
because that's
likely to.
chronic smoking. People make mistakes every single day. If you reap every single thing you sow, the niggas just gonna be suffering their whole life.
No,
You know
no.
what I'm
Let,
saying?
let, me, let me be clear. Let me be clear about the reaping what you sow thing. Like when you say that statement applies when the person has finally sowed. I mean, he has finally reaped what he sowed. Like, sure,
Mhm.
if I should, let me look for a crazy example now. Okay,
I understand what
if
you
I'm
mean.
going to fly out of planes, what do you call those guys? Skydive. Yeah, if I skydive
Mhm.
almost like part of my recreational activity, yeah, we know the risk
Mhm.
of the parachute refusing to come up and
Mhm.
then you packing. Yeah, it's not that you. It would be unfair to say you reaped what you sow because you're just catching fun. Like it is. It is
You're
not a
doing your
terrible
thing, facts. Yeah.
activity. You're just doing your thing, right? You understood the risk. That is in a legit way. It's not a sin to jump out of a plane and like you're enjoying your time.
No.
It's a
Mm-mm.
sin anyway. Yeah, but then doing things that are clearly harmful, like the pros do not weigh against the cons in a very good way. We all know that. That is when you can use the statement to ripple. Just like you won't just go to the burial of Snoop Dogg
No,
or
I
Wiz
get what you're
Khalifa.
saying, but what
Yeah.
I'm saying is like
Yeah.
that doesn't always apply though. Like even when you
Yeah,
are
that's
doing things that are evidently
Give
harmful,
me an
yeah.
example. Let me
yeah,
let me
and
get
that's
I want to get an
ultimately
example.
what. Finish.
An example of like
Yeah, once an
rippling.
example, come on, do you have an example?
Yeah. Yeah.
Of
Like
what?
I want to understand your train of thought. I've given examples of how that
No,
could be
all
evident.
he's saying is, or what both of us are essentially trying to say is, sometimes you reap what you sow, and sometimes you don't. Is
Yeah, like
essentially
it's not enough
Which
for
essentially
I
what
a
he's
agree
saying.
to. I agree
statement.
to that now.
When we say this life no balance, yeah. Even just today, my mom, my mom was telling me this story. I think it's one of our friends. Not even I think it's one of our friends. So her daughter was traveling to. Was she traveling? I think Lokoja. I think maybe. So she got kidnapped on the road. Her and a bunch of other people, and then they told them to bring 1 million each.
Mm.
So her family hustled. Eventually, got 1 million. Then they told them to also bring a bike, like a machine, Okada bike, a certain brand. So like after they got the money and the bike, her brother went to go. Okay, so her son, my mom's friend's son, and the
Mhm.
sister's brother, so went to go and deliver the ransom to the kidnappers and whatnot. So when he got there, they looked at the bike and they said, "Well, this is not the brand of bike we told you to buy." So they took the money, took the bike, told them to get another bike, and then kidnapped the son as well.
Hell.
And so you can imagine, like, for someone like that, like the mom, she's just there, like, wow, like her daughter got kidnapped, and then they sweats and sweats and
Oh,
sweats for how many months
Facts.
to raise that 1 million, and then gave it as ransom, and then her son went to, and then her son too got kidnapped. So now she's lost her son, she's lost her daughter, and like, what did she do to deserve that? You know, like. And ultimately, that's my grievance with the whole. Like, you can't tell me this woman, unless she's doing some fucking black magic, or she killed someone, which she probably did not.
Yeah.
Like, what did she ever do to deserve shit like that? Because now they can easily kill the daughter, they can rape her, they can marry her off. There's so many things they can do to her. They can kill the son too. Like, there's so many things. And where is she gonna raise another 1 million from? Like, where? Like, because she
No.
just barely raised the first one. So when like, ultimately, I agree. Like, the whole "you reap what you sow" thing, if it's being used in the context of work hard and good things will happen to you, fair enough, because it's motivating people to work hard. But like, when something happens to someone and they're always like, he was doing this now, you reap. But like, bro, like, it doesn't. I don't like that, because you're only using it because it just
This
happened to apply.
particular Come on, this particular issue, it wouldn't that statement. First of all, that statement will not apply to this particular issue because it will even be
No, it
unfair.
wouldn't.
Like
Exactly.
it has to be with. That's why I said when people use the statement "you reap what you sow," usually in terms of putting your house into the work and all that. In this kind of situation, I think this is just going to be qadar. Sorry, qadar is what's qadar again? Destiny, cool. And
Destiny.
the test is a test. So
Yeah.
sure, see, if we're going down the road, hopefully we'll not even go down the religious road. But ordinarily, it's expected that you as a human, or rather, I'm speaking from a Muslim perspective anyway, you cannot
Mhm.
be expected to live through this life and think you would go without tests. It's
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
there. It's literally a
Yeah.
belief we all have to go through. So, shit, by the way, that woman's story is sad. So she's lost two kids
It's
to
sad as
Yeah,
shit,
that's
but
bro.
fucked up,
Like,
man.
that's such a. Or then, like you said, life no balance. Abi, how you talk and say
Mm.
this life.
yeah.
So I think that's just one of those situations of this life no balance. That's not a matter of karma, unless, like you said,
Mm.
she's doing magic or maybe she has schooled people in the past or something. Then we can say, oh man, okay, she had it coming. But no one actually knows that. Like remember, good. Well, we've all watched this movie, right? This Idris Elba movie. Shit.
Which one?
The one where it's very recent. Something about thieves. Oh God, something
Recent
about
Steve.
recent, yeah.
Steve Trevor.
Where apparently in the beginning, at the end of the movie, it turned out that the person he killed in the beginning happened to have been his father. Very, very popular. Something of King of Thieves or something. Ring of Thieves or
Have I seen? I haven't seen that. I don't think I've seen it.
oh my God, this guy was in it. Quite a number of popular guys were in that shit. I remember the movie and I'll say it again. But anyway, at the end of he came around. It turned out that the person that like the guy that killed Idris Elba at the end of the movie happened to be the son of the man whom Idris Elba killed. And then
At the
back in
beginning.
time,
Yeah.
that man happened to have been Idris Elba's father. He had abused him. He had done a lot of hardship. Then suddenly the man left them, abandoned him and his mother. The mother died. The man suddenly became a pastor, lived, married another woman, and then had his son. So the son turned out to kill Idris Elba. And when I remember the title, I would see it, and then all of you be like, "Oh yeah," because it was quite popular.
Because it said
Hoping,
recent.
yeah, it seems recent. It's very recent. So I'll try and remember the movie later. So Shasha, that's what we could. That's it. That's an example of karma, whatever, ever. Karma came
Mm.
coming back to the guy. Yeah. So I think that's like although it's a movie anyway. It's a movie,
Yeah.
so can yeah, that kind of issue.
That's what I said.
So you
Ultimately, like, if you're only using it in the context of, okay, work hard, or
Yeah,
I just don't
then it
like
makes
the
sense.
fact
Yeah.
that it's only used like when something bad happens to someone, and they're like, oh,
Which yeah,
or
it's
like
not. Yeah,
like
facts.
this guy was a thief, so he just flipped what he's. Oh shit! There's a recent Lupe's last album. Yeah, he had a line on the album where he was talking about AIDS. So when a gay guy dies from AIDS, they're like, oh wow, it's God killing the gays. But when a pastor dies from AIDS, they say it's God's mysterious ways. And it's like,
Mm.
oh
bro,
yeah,
the same. the same thing happened to two different people, but because one person just happened to be gay and got AIDS, you say, oh, he died because he was gay. But then when a pastor
people still
dies,
say
it's from
that God
AIDS, you
introduced
say it's
AIDS or
God.
something because of gay
Yeah,
people.
you say it's God mistake. So like it's the same thing that happened to both of them, but because of how they lived their lives, they're trying to use the two different ways to justify. Like one person deserved it, but the other person, it's just God's mysterious ways. God walks into like I don't like that distinction that's always being made. Like at the end of the day, everyone sins, everyone does bad things.
Facts.
Like we don't have to label someone by this and then ultimately just judge them by that one thing when something bad happens to them. When we wouldn't do the same thing to someone with a different reputation. So I just want more like I guess fairness, parity, consistency, whatever you want to call it, between how we judge people in general. Like we're just too judgmental as a race. Like who are we to judge? Like nigga, you ain't shit. Like who are you to be judging other people? But yeah, that's just.
So come on, I have a question for you though. So here's the thing. So since we basically said you don't always reap what you sow, so in a religious context, as far as bad things happening to people, it's not
Mhm,
applicable. Like it just doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So my own thing is this because I know a lot of people, kind of like we talked about before, like the whole religion and morals and stuff. I feel like we've come far enough as a society though to be able to
mhm.
be moral to ourselves, religion or not
Yes.
religion, because there are people that are not religious, they are good people.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because I know I've had this argument before when like I was in discussion of like religion versus not religion. And like, someone's like, oh, this guy is not religious. In fact, an atheist. Why doesn't he just go
Mhm,
out there and like murder people? Like, well, because he doesn't want to do that. Like, why would you want to
mhm.
do that? You know what I'm saying? So, do you feel like now we've just said you don't always reap what you sow? Does that kind of, how do I put it delicately?
This guy's
Uh
about to say some fucking.
Does that kind of like take away from the credibility of religion? You know what I'm saying? Like
It
because
depends on how you look at it.
because I mean I don't know because I feel like every angle you look at it, like you said, right? And we live in a world where
Mhm,
there's 5 major religions, like
mhm,
8,000 and something others, 1,000 and so that's ridiculous amounts of religions. You know what I'm saying? So like
mhm,
if you see somebody struggling, so you say they live in the south, they are poor, things are not going their
mhm,
way, maybe their children got kidnapped. Now I'm saying, and there's like, oh, like he prays every day, so like in the next life, you okay. Well, you take the
mhm,
same equivalent of somebody maybe in the north, and maybe it's a different religion, and it's like, okay, well, somebody either both y'all wrong, one person wrong, or like, so, you know what I'm saying?
mhm,
So like,
mhm.
what we doing? Just so try. What we doing for?
So well, if we're going from the first angle of the moral thing, I feel like it's like you said right now, um, religion is kind of ingrained in society, and like you said, there's atheists who are morally on the right side of things.
Mhm.
Objectivity is
But I feel like
subjective
most
in some
criminals,
sense.
they're not interesting enough. Most criminals, they're not atheists. Yeah, I mean, they actually have a
No,
faith
no, no,
one
no.
way or the other. Yeah,
Yeah. So like,
that's why it's
but
wild.
I'll also say that religion has been around for so long at this point that it's hard to trace the roots of where morality and the way we understand it right now comes from.
Yeah,
Because
that's true.
someone can argue that the morals that even though it started in religion a long time ago, since religions became the norm in a lot of societies, it just became
That's
culture,
a
like through
societal,
custom.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so through custom, it just became a societal norm, and then it's passed down. And then nowadays, you grow up not believing in God, but you adopt societal values and societal like definition of
Yeah.
what good and bad is. And someone can argue that still stems from religion, but we just don't know if that makes sense.
But
Because
if it
I
stems
can't
from
answer
it,
that
that's
question.
fine. But do we still need it the way it is there now?
I
Because
feel
like,
like
go on.
yeah. So in a place like Nigeria, despite it being as religious as it is, like you can still see the amount of banditry and everything going on here.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I think if you were to remove religion from Nigerians, most people that nowadays, at least Nigeria, they fear the religious consequences of things more than they fear the legal consequences
And that's
because law.
problematic in itself, don't you think?
Yeah, because the law
Okay.
isn't really efficient here. It's not really working properly.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys aren't gonna steal or aren't gonna kill people, aren't gonna kidnap people because God is gonna judge them one day. So that's why they
Yeah.
don't do it. So I'll still say like if you were to remove that, the world would be a
Mm.
more chaotic place, in my opinion. And I feel like it would be hard
Uh,
to argue. But you might have your own
I
opinion.
feel, no, you have a good point. I feel like maybe not so in the West, but
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
because even like
Depends.
I think it was Dostoevsky. I'm not even sure, but one of these philosophers, and he
Mhm.
was like, if God doesn't exist, everything is permissible. So, and I'm
But
not even
not
sure if he was
really
related.
though. Like, no, I don't agree with that.
You don't agree with that
No,
because you
because
think the law. But what's the law? Okay, where does the law get its morality from?
that's fine. No, if I talk about the origins of things, that's a different thing. But right now, people are not okay. So if God does not exist, everything is permissible. Technically, everything is permissible now. Anybody can do anything, but you don't because of the repercussions, right?
Yeah, so
Outside
that's
of
why.
whether there is a God or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm saying if those consequences still stem from religious or theist,
Do they even for sure? I mean, that's like a whole other thing, I guess. But I
and that's what I
see.
said before. Like I don't really know. I can't say with
Yeah,
100% certainty
same,
it does or
same.
if
Me
it
neither.
doesn't. But I
Yeah.
think there's a very good chance that it does. Because even if you go back to like Julius Caesar and all these Roman emperors and shit, like a lot of the laws and stuff was based on biblical scripture. Like that was the basis they used to form a lot of the
But
laws. So
there's
whatever
something
the Bible,
beeping behind you.
yeah,
Okay.
they brought on Nepal. There's Nepal lights, so they fucking beeps whenever it comes. But
So,
I'm gonna backtrack a bit. So yeah, if you
uh-huh.
go back to Julius Caesar and like Roman emperors and shit, like a lot of the laws that they instituted was based on biblical scriptures. And you
Mhm.
can argue that the law as we know it now since then has only been passed down from what was earlier proposed by the Roman emperors and whatnot. But yeah, I just feel like there's a good argument to be made that the law as we know it now was passed down from earlier laws, which were also based on
Mhm.
biblical scriptures. So there's a very good chance that even though we don't see it as religion, the law is still stemmed or still stems from religion. So
Yeah. Okay. Abdulmujeeb, last question. Do you feel like the way we live today and the knowledge we have today, I guess not just of ourselves, but also of the world and stuff, do you feel like religion is becoming more redundant?
hmm.
Yeah, it's a loaded question.
That's a good question, actually. Do I think
Yeah.
religion is more important? No, I don't think so. I actually think religion is stay. It's going to see. It
Wait,
has.
before you continue. Skills, where do you get this intelligent questions from today? You're not normally like
Wait,
this,
what are you talking
Like,
about, bro?
like this guy normally the
What do
road man
you
just talking
mean?
about random shit. Like today, the nigga actually
What
thinking,
do you mean?
coming
We
up.
having a conversation.
Usually, I like to be devil's advocate because they cannot be. All of you cannot be on the same page. It's nice. I just hope
Go
that.
ahead.
Anyhow, sure. Good question. No, I don't think
Yeah.
religion is getting redundant. Sure, I believe that people are getting ballsy in
Mhm.
being in coming out to say the things they say, and well, some of you can put it on this freedom of speech thing. See, I might
Liberalism
be,
too.
yeah, yeah. I think okay, no, we're almost going to branch into that other topic. Do you how much people are able to influence?
I mean, at
See,
this
Feel
point,
free, feel free,
we
go
don't
on.
really have time to do that fully, so just go.
no, I know.
Yeah, but we're probably not gonna do it.
We're not. It's religion is here to stay. It has been. It has. See that thing is tested. Like it has seen so
Mhm.
many wherever. I don't know if I would say changes over time. This is millennia of an ideology that has been passed on, whether it is even whether or not it's a monotheistic religion or
Mhm.
Trinity or polytheistic religion. Even our bloody Nigerian people, ethnic groups have its own religion to an extent, and it cannot live. To be fair, regardless of whatever people choose to do, no matter how agnostic some people decide to be, the truth remains that religion is going to stay. So it's not going to be redundant. Sure, we'll have people that are getting more balls, committing more sins every day and all that. But then, to be fair, if you read a lot of our history books, you just realize like people have always been evil. Like, my goodness, this man, this Chinese guy, Mao, the guy that developed Mao, is it Maoism or Taoism? One of them. That man,
Mhm.
what's his real name? The man literally wiped out millions of his people, and apparently his own genocide, or whatever, or if that
Uh,
was That's like a whole different ballgame entirely. You
Mhm.
cannot fault the person for creating an ideology, and then people like look at Wole Soyinka, for God's sake. Those guys started off on a good note for the cultism thing, and but see what we have today. You can't fault them for deciding to do good, and then people deciding to get out of cause and then still attributing it to them. You get that
Mm.
kind of to be unfair on their legacy. So yeah, like I was saying, that guy wiped out more of his people than the whole number of people that died in World War One. And I do not know how many. I've forgotten how many people died in World War Two rather. So yeah, religion is here to stay. I think that's why. Well, I'm not
Yeah.
going to go
Well,
into.
what if I told you that so back in 1999,
Okay.
right, 70% of Americans identified with their religion, so like Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, right?
Now
And
it's
today
so
it's
much less.
47%.
Yeah, less than half.
So
And they're
that's a
most.
big decline,
Yeah.
like a
Kamala,
big decline.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you speak statistics, honestly, I do not doubt the credibility of the things you speak about, but then we have to look at the amount of people that were actually covered in that particular research. Like if there's this ongoing statistic research that we have in medicine, the one that my goodness, my head is cracking. Uh the research is basically about hypertension, HBP, hypertension, and it has been
Hmm.
going on for centuries, literally centuries. I've forgotten the name of the research, but I'm sure when I Google it up, I will remember. The people that started off that research are not the same number of people who are covering today, but we're always going to attribute them in terms of percentage. So if you carry out 10 people today and say 80% of them believe that so thing should happen, and then in the next 200 years, 50% of people choose that okay, this thing should continue. But then the number of you are expected to specify the people you covered in this particular research now. But then if you just put on the percentage in your head, you will just give us a still result. You get
But that
like
one
I
is like pretty. It's pretty straightforward, though. Wouldn't you
I
say?
mean, I can even add to that. If you want to go to France, in France in 1986, 81% of people identified as Catholic, and it's down to 47% in 2020.
And now
yeah,
there are
Germany,
more people.
how many people were in
54%.
France at that point in time versus like the amount of people that were they definitely did not knock on every individual's door
But the
to be
same,
asking
but the same company. So it's the same company that did the initial one and then did the follow-up one. So it's the same, like it's the same company doing both. You get me?
the same
So it's
number
not
of
like,
they use the
yeah. So
same
it's not like you're using, huh?
No. That's not how research works. You are expected. They use the same number of people. Like they did 100 now and then did 100 years after. That's what they
No,
did.
okay. To be fair, I've not looked in depth into it. I'm
Yeah,
just looking at
that's what
But I
I'm
don't
the.
think the
saying.
number of people matter because if there are more people, and now the
No,
percentage is even
come on,
less.
But
it
yeah,
does.
but like
It does.
regardless of which research paper you actually look, all of them show a decline. Literally all of them. So it's not like
Yeah,
unique just to this one I've said.
I guess
Like all of them show
I
a
guess
vast decline.
like something like religion should occur. Like, sure, we have more people accepting Islam nowadays. We also have more
Yes,
people. You also
this is
have
more
more
so in
like more
Christianity, to be
people
fair, but
going.
yeah.
To be fair, like even though the percentage may not be as high as the amount of people accepting a particular religion, we still have more people that are still like living. No matter what, no matter how much we try to hide it, we still have people that have the balls to go on YouTube or Reddit and start saying some discriminatory thing against a
I mean,
particular
I
religion
agree
or
with you. I
the other.
don't think it would be like redundant, but I feel like that
Mhm.
percentage will keep decreasing, though.
It is declining.
Yeah,
Religion
like I feel
generally
like
is
it
declining.
continue. It will substantially dip at some point, in my opinion. But I feel what you're saying, though. You know what I'm saying because like people will
Yeah,
still believe whatever they want at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So
supposed to believe, no matter what.
yeah.
I think that will okay. Anyhow, I think people will still believe
Yeah, because
because
places like Spain and all these things used to be like super religious. Like when
Yeah, like
around that
Spain,
Queen,
like that was like yeah,
yeah, like
facts,
that Queen
facts.
Isabella time, and they were doing all these conquerors everywhere. Like these
Yeah, they
niggas
did
were
like some
them niggas,
Spanish
bro.
Inquisition or
Yeah,
something where
Spanish
like
Inquisition and
knock on your door. Are you
everything. Like
Christian? No, you're fucked.
yeah.
yeah,
And today, most of Spain don't even identify as Christian.
because come out
So
of Spain is
you
not
get
like Spain now was not Spain then. Come on, like the amount of land they control. These guys literally had like they had land from Portugal. They had land from
But that
South.
how's that affecting their religion, though?
No, no, no,
yeah, it
no, no.
doesn't.
What I'm saying is, it would, because if the part of Spain that was Portugal, that is Portugal now, would be part of that research, it would not be normal because they are Portuguese now in it. Meanwhile, like I'm saying, the number would also matter.
But
Spain has Spain. Spain
when
has
did
also
Spain and Portugal? Let me see.
Spain
Yeah,
is one of
I get what you're saying,
Spain is one of
Abdulmujeeb, but you're looking at it from a very scientific perspective of like this is how we're going to do the research. But the fact of the matter is, the percentage is dropping. I feel you
like
do.
people are
I
getting
feel
dropped.
you.
They are late Catholic.
Yo, Spain and Portugal separated in fucking 1493.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm
Yeah, Queen
saying.
Isabella was way after that. The Spanish Inquisition was way after that, so that doesn't really apply here.
No, we're not talking about the Spanish Inquisition. We're talking about. No, I'm talking about the amount of when there was when they battles. All these there's frequent battles between Spain then and Spain now. Like as
Yeah.
in comparison rather. The amount of land Spain hold is not what they have now. In it, isn't that true? That's what I'm trying to drive at.
True.
So,
Yeah,
but
you're
you're
looking
trying,
at
I
it
guess.
from a
So you keep trying, but you're trying to say
research
that
perspective.
people. You're trying to say that Spain broke up into different segments. So you're saying some of
No, it's
the
looking at it from a research
religious
perspective. So
people.
the Spain, then the people in
Like,
Spain,
the
because it's
that
not the
were
Uh-huh.
same group and type of people, you can't use it
yeah.
now as
Uh-huh.
research, is what he's saying.
Why not?
I think.
But why
Yeah,
not?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure why not do that. That's all.
I feel
That's
like
what
you
I'm.
can.
That's,
I feel like what Spain signifies is as religion, the longer religion stayed in a certain country, it continued to decline. And we saw that in Spain, we see that in the West. We're seeing that here, even in Africa,
yeah,
because religion is
Spain
Yeah,
newer
was
here.
religion is also the yeah.
And
Spain was-
as years go on, you're seeing more and more people go away from it, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. That I know. I was okay, Spain. Being no Spain in particular was actually kind of dicey because Spain was a majorly Muslim country for a very long time.
Yeah. I didn't know that before, you know. When someone told me that, I was like, what?
Yeah,
I
they
had
were
no
very.
clue.
That's why the remnant of Spain that's even still Muslim will be Cordoba. Some places in some very 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 few places in Madrid, and then I think a lot, or let me say quite a number of a high percentage of the regular Spaniard in Cordoba is a Muslim as alternative to what we have in the other part of Spain. You get so there are still some places that still try to hold on to that Muslim thing because Spain was a very like in Islamic history, it was a very big stronghold. But regardless, anyway, like you have a point on the whole. The longer the region stays in a place, it's likely to like dwindle, or better still, the less likely the people would choose to rely more on what the books say. It's happening in KSA,
Mm,
Saudi Arabia, it's happening in UAE, it's happening in a lot of Muslim countries.
yeah.
It is happening even in Nigeria, like as we did. So it's normal, it's expected, but would it disappear like totally? I doubt. I
No,
doubt.
I doubt it
Yeah, I
will
doubt it
either.
too as
I feel
well.
like
Yeah.
there's so much more we could talk about this, but this I feel
That's
like
what I
we
was going
just
to
need
say.
to.
Like, we can spiral, but
Yeah,
let's we'll come
yeah.
back to it. We'll come back to it
We'll
another
come back
time.
to it. We'll come back to it.
I have a lot to say. We'll come back to it. Leah, let's wrap up the thing, fam.
Okay, final
Okay.
thoughts. Um, so what was the first topic? Well, karma. So my conclusion on karma is, and the whole you reap what you sow thing. If it's only used in the context of work hard, I'm cool. I don't like the double standards when something happens to someone that's religious and then the same thing happens to someone that's quote unquote not religious, and then you use different rhetorics to describe what happened to them. I don't like that because it's the same thing that happened. So you can't say one reaped what he sowed and then the other one, it just God's mysterious ways, it just happened to die. Back to that Lupe lyric. Shout out to Lupe. Um, Religion, man, there's too much to say on religion.
There's too much
Yo,
to
we might.
say, fam.
No,
We need
we'll
to do
give we'll
that
give you all
episode.
a follow up on this religion one because I don't even want to give any final thoughts on that one because there's just too
There's
much
a
to
lot
that.
to say.
But I guess all I would say is religion right now is definitely in an interesting place. Like it's declining in so many places. It's liberalism has come and overtaken a lot of shit. Even traditional conservative countries are now beginning to adopt more liberal views. I don't know if Nigeria will do that anytime soon, but regardless of if they do or if they don't, the people, especially in our generation, are still leaning towards that anyway. And it's only a matter of time before the people even younger than us are gonna grow up with similar mindsets, and then there's gonna be a revolution or some shit, and, and then we're gonna have to acquiesce in some ways because too large of the population believes in this liberal mindset. But we're not there yet. I don't know when we'll get there. But I do think, like Skill said, at some point there's gonna be a major drop off, even in Nigeria.
Yep.
Abdulmujeeb, final thoughts.
Well, like you guys said, religion is usually a dicey issue. To be honest, I think back then, probably in secondary school, I would have loved to like delve into it because then I realized like the more you read, the less likely you would want to enter religious arguments. Because man, you don't go into religious argument hoping to win. You just go there to say your part and then move. Because otherwise, you're wasting your time. So yes, this whole thing, I definitely still feel like we've all agreed that it's not going to get wiped out anytime soon. It's still going to be around. Sure, there will be a time when, well, if God allows that time to come anyway, where there will be people fighting for religion, and then the other side saying no, they are too liberal for this kind of stuff. But then, to be
Mhm.
fair, we've seen it in history, like in the past, when the judgments will now come, like if well, for people that believe in the Sodom and Gomorrah story, we have things like that happening. Like we have things like that happened, unless people, and there are some proofs that show that those events actually happened. So whatever people say, if it's a matter of replacing a generation by another generation, and if you are an evolution person, like you believe in that whole wherever, then you will expect that to happen also. So one worst case scenario, we'll all get wiped out. Other people will replace us, blah blah. We'll have climate change and all that happening too. So
Hey, shout out global warming.
also causing the guy like, man, this world was get as guy.
The
But
thing is,
yeah,
you don't even have to go that far back. Like even if you look at the Roe v. Wade thing and the abortion
yeah,
ruling, right?
True, true.
For
arguments that
most, pretty much every
against it.
religious person, abortion is illegal in pretty much every religion that I know of.
Yeah.
You know,
But if you look at the
100%
sorry,
illegal. Like it depends on the time, it depends on the reasoning, and depends on the time you want to do it. And
really,
it's not, yeah, it depends on like if the doctor
I'll have
says,
to
oh,
look
it's
into that.
going to cause havoc to your health
Oh
and you
yeah,
need to
yeah,
save,
yeah, yeah. That one I know. Yeah, but
yeah,
but not just because you want to do it. Yeah, it's not just like it's not
not just
been how many
only,
weeks. So I'm just yeah,
and
yeah.
that's
But
where
that's
that way it gets dicey. And that's when people be like, you know what, like that when people now start saying things that in ordinary counts, you'll be like, this guy is blaspheming. And to be fair, they are talking as humans and like they really want to get themselves rid of this thing growing in them. And I'm not
mhm,
pro-abortion, but to be fair, let me just make
mhm.
that clear, and I'm very strong on that. But it is what it is.
Yeah, and that's what
Is
I'm
it?
saying. Like if you were gonna adopt a religious view, and if,
Yeah.
if the world was really as religious as it is, the backlash to that ruling will not even be as close as it was.
Not as
But we
much
saw
as,
how big the backlash was, and that's because
yeah,
most
you
people
know
have
that.
the liberal
Yeah,
liberal pro-choice mindset now.
yeah, come on. I think it's because a lot of people they are beginning to have this mindset of, or let me say, they are beginning to feel they do not really need to rely on God for so many things. Like if you are okay now, imagine a lot of people are bringing up this case of rape, where okay, if somebody comes to rape me and then I cannot abort the baby because I'm forced to. You cannot really win an argument with someone that comes with that
Yeah,
proposal. You
yeah, it's
get.
hard. It's hard.
Mm,
Has a case,
I
you
agree
get
with you.
something is growing in him from something she did not want. So how do you win that
Yeah,
kind of? Yeah, just give. And we're living in a place where nobody's going to take care of that baby for you. Nobody. Now you go bear am by
yeah.
yourself. Uh,
Things like that have to be entirely faith-based. Like it's that person themselves has to have the faith to be like, well, this is just
just
God's
yeah,
will or whatever, and then decide to keep the baby. But me as a person, there's nothing I can tell you to justify keeping a baby that you got because you were raped. Like I can never, what can
how
I
can you
say?
see? What can you say exactly? So you just swallow. Those kind of arguments. You will never catch me dead having an abortion argument. Yeah, you can't. What am I going to say?
Difficult.
It's not possible, man.
Yeah,
Unless happens to someone like Paru with no. If I see a guy, I get too many things to be worrying about than to be having abortion arguments. You can't. So yeah, that's. That's that. Let's wrap.
Like, when we have the argument
Yeah.
on the pod, you still listen to each other. So still, we gonna do it anyways.
Don't worry,
We still
we'll
gonna
talk
do
about this off pod.
it.
Skills,
Yo,
anything to add, or you just that's it?
Abdulmujeeb, that's it. You done?
So yeah, that's it for me. Skills. Up to you.
Yo, it's been your boys
Hey, thank you for coming on, my guy.
on the Parrot
This
Side.
is my
Hey,
guy for
Abdulmujeeb, man,
how
good friend
many
of the pod. But
over
hey,
a decade now. So
that's gang
how
shit.
many years stronger? Yeah. So thank you for coming on, man.
Hey, thanks for supporting the pod, man. Come back anytime,
Yeah.
man. We're hanging out, man. Come have the conversation. We here.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, thank you.
yo, thanks for tuning in, man. Been your boys on the Parrot Side pod. Hey, y'all know what it is. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify. Yo, Abdulmujeeb, what do we tell them about the feedback? Yo, tell them.
No fucking feedback.
No, there's no fucking feedback, bro. You heard him say it. We don't give a fuck. Hey, peace out, man. Catch us on the
Yeah.
next one.
Peace out.